we're going to do is we're going to take our knife, okay, and we're going to shoot it all the way across and hook the inside, okay, inside of his leg, so he can't go anywhere. All right. And then from there, we're going to just shift our whole body and flip him over. It's important to keep this hook, right? Because if you let go of this hook, he completely flip over this way. And, okay? So, from this position, right, apply pressure, okay? And from here, you're going to step all the way over, hook it, sitting on top of his head, roll, keep the hook, okay? Most important thing is that you gain control of this wrist here, quickly, and pull it in tight. Because that creates the triangle to become smaller, right? You have the gi here, straighten this leg out, kick it out, then bring it back this way, and then you're going to come underneath your other knee here, right? Squeezing your knee together is what causes the choke to happen. Okay, you don't want to choke this way, right? You want to come underneath your other knee and squeeze your knees together. Okay, and from this position, you can choke, you can armbar. There's many things you can do. One more time. Arm pry, right into side. Again, your weight. You look for the opening. You see the opening over here. So instead of coming here, you step all the way across in here. Hook the inside of this leg, right? Flip him over. Okay. Reach in. Try to grab his wrist or whatever you can. Okay. He's going to be fighting this to get this loose. So what you want to do is get your heel, right, and pull his tricep back to you this way. So that enables you to reach that arm and pull it tight for the final choke. Let's look at one more variation off of the sankaku. Okay, once you're here in this position, okay, as you roll the opponent over, okay, what he's going to try to do is, instead of you getting your leg over here, okay, he's going to keep this arm tied to his chest. Okay, so you cannot get his arm. Okay, so this creates a problem because you can't get into the sankaku or the triangle choke. So from here, what I do is I hold him as tight as possible, pull this elbow into my chest, and I keep this pressure down on his head. Okay, and what I'm going to do is maintain this grip here on his leg so he can't turn. Okay, that's stopping him from turning. At the right timing, I'm going to switch arms here, come up to my elbow, keep that pressure down, and slide into a pin. Okay, one more time. Okay. You're here, go to turn, flip him, right? He doesn't let you come underneath. Okay, you got to maintain this leg pressure here and over there too. Okay, switch your hips, switch your legs, and then your hips. Here. When you come across his face, when you're here, when you're switching your hips, you've got to turn and put both your hips down on the mat. This way, right? Because that's going to stop him. And then as you turn, you can get him into a pin, or you can come right from here to the chest. Right here. Okay, and this one's up many different arm bars and other attacks. But basically in judo, if you can, again, pin him here for 30 seconds, the match is over. Now, as you're going for the sankaku, you can also get an armbar. So let's look at that now. Okay, it's pretty basic, pretty simple off of the variation we just saw. from here, again, come to here, step over, roll. Instead of coming in for the sankaku this time, and it doesn't matter even if his arm's on this side, we just slip back this knee back up. Okay? We grab from over here. Okay? Before we were going to go for the sankaku, right? And instead of the sankaku, this knee, instead of sliding back underneath, is just going to come up this way. In order to make this work, you cannot let your leg get trapped underneath there, right? If your leg is trapped underneath, then you have to go this move, okay? But if your leg, as you roll, okay, you can still see your knee. That means that you can do juji if you can see your knee. Okay, so from here, reach up, grab your own lapel, right? And now you're gonna have to push away from it, right? Kind of scoot your hips out. Okay. Then once you get into this position, this leg goes down again toward the head. The last one in this arm prise series I want to show is a basic rollover that goes something like this. Okay, what's happening here is I've got the arm, okay, I come over the head, and for whatever reason, I can't budge him. He doesn't want to move. Okay, so what I do now is I'm going to sit, push this through, my arm through, okay, and I'm going to lock my arm above his shoulder. If it's below his shoulder, it's not going to work. Lock it above his shoulder. Okay, next what I'm going to do is I'm going to reach over and grab his gi here. Then I'm going to stick my head inside here and roll over this way. Okay, now I have control of his elbow and control of his leg. And this in judo is basically a pin right here. So move around, try to get out. As long as I maintain this hold for 30 seconds, I'm going to win. Now, there's other variations. If I want to switch, I can switch from here. I can switch to a basic armbar here. Okay? Or I can switch from here into a different pin, which Ushiro Kesekatami, or reverse Kesami. This is another pin. So there's many options once I get to this position. Okay? If we're not doing judo, if we're doing some other sport or arm fighting or street fighting, this may not be a very good position because he's got an open hand back there. So what you want to do probably then, turn in this position, which opens up all kinds of strikes or other options. Okay, here we're going to get into another series, a cycle series, which I use probably the most in international competition. Let's start out by the opponent attacking and actually how it happens from standing to the ground. He's going to attack with a ippon seinagi. I'm going to counter and then go right into the series. Okay, starting from down here, let's go over the basics. As soon as he hits the ground, okay, what I want to do is I want to come inside and grab either the inside thigh or anything, okay, anything along here, or even just his hip, okay, either here, here, or here, whatever I can get. Secondly, I want to place my knee right next to his knee, okay, and sit down right on the side, here. Okay, what I'm doing is I'm pulling my opponent back into me. It's a basic wrestling breakdown move. Pull back, here, okay? At the same time, so he doesn't reach out here and stop me from doing this motion, I'm going to chop right at the elbow. I'm going to pull it into me. All right, so I'm going to hit him into me. At this point, it's good to cross grip, right? You're here, and I can also grip here. Right? So I pull him back onto me, okay, onto his side. Now I have an option, okay? I can still work something this way, but the way the series works is I'm going to roll him over to the opposite side here. Okay? Let's move over here. Okay, from this position, the most important thing is that I keep this knee down, okay, squeezing these together. This is what controls my opponent. I keep this lapel. So if he tries to get out, try to escape, right, you may have to fight him for a couple seconds. Okay, when he stops fighting, that's when my opening comes. Okay, number one is all I do is take my hand, hook his elbow, okay, and push out with my legs, right, this way, into a pin. Okay, let's look at that a little bit in detail. Come, start again. Here, I hook here, right? Now, the problem is he's laying on top of my leg, right? So I have to kind of straighten out my legs. And when I straighten out my legs, it pushes him down. Here, okay? Now what I'm going to do is come up, onto my elbow, here, and I'm going to use my chin to stop him from turning. Okay? Try to turn. Okay? So you hook him with your chin. And once I feel him stop fighting, right, then I'm going to switch my hips this way. Okay, when I mean switch my hips, in this position here, and this is real important that you go and put your hips all the way to the mat. The quicker you do that, the faster you're going to get the move, and the less time he's going to have to escape. Okay, one important point is before you can roll the person, okay, say I'm locked in here and I'm trying to roll him over. He's got his arm out or he's just generally strong. It's not always easy to turn him or to pull him back. Right? So one is, as soon as you come down on your opponent, you want to kind of pull him this way, and then when he reacts, you basically use his reaction. It'll make it easier to roll him over. Okay? Once you're here, again, squeeze your knees together, control with your elbow down. Okay? Next is, say he gets this free, this elbow free. You can still control his body here. Alright, the next move is, we're going to come underneath here. Okay, we're going to shoot straight up, and then behind his head, and come into a pin. Okay, let's look at it in fast motion here. Now let's look at another variation from the same move. Okay, so we get this far, and for whatever reason, he's strong, and you don't want to give him 1 inch, because as soon as you take the pressure off here, he could escape. Okay, so what I do to stop this is reach down, grab his belt, okay, take your elbow, push it down. And so you're basically pressing down into his stomach. Okay, from this point here, you want to maintain this pressure here. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to completely release this arm to here. And we're going to grab the back of his neck, right here. The reason we grab the back of his neck is because if I don't grab anything, he's going to sit up and escape. So as he goes to sit up and escape, right, you reach up, grab, and pull him back down. And then from here, what we're going to shoot our right leg out, and just maintain this pressure here. Basically just press him down until you can come into a pin. Okay, one more variation. Again, we have the belt. We're pressing down with the knees. Okay, this time, in order to control him more, sometimes we have to just come across and hook here. Okay, and from this position here, you can really control a person, because not only does it stop his movement, but you can also squeeze and stop his breathing here. Okay, it's illegal in judo, but as long as you're not applying too much pressure, it's okay. And so you hold here, all right, and then from this position here, we're going to maintain this posture here, right? This squeezing and control him until you get him to here, and then scoop up this arm into tate shio, or like a mounted position. Okay, again, the key to this is squeezing your knees together and controlling him here. And if he tries to escape this way, just grab the back and pull him down. Okay? And what you want to do here is, he's going to try to turn away. So you can come underneath his bicep, tricep, and pull his arm tighter to you, this way, right? So when you come out, push it to the other side and squeeze tight. Let's look at another variation of this move into an armbar. Okay, the key to this, once you over, okay, and get them into this position, a lot of times they're going to try to scoot their hips down, okay, so you can't pin them, right? So as they're scooting their hips down, you've just lost control of this pressure here. Okay, so once you lose control of that pressure, right, you have two options. One, of course, is to choke, which we'll get into later, but from here also, okay, you can keep pressure on this elbow by just hooking it, okay, and at the right moment, you want to just take his head, push it aside, bring your leg over the top, and that brings you right into Jujigatami. Okay, so back again, right? Again, knowing when the right timing is the key, and the right time is when he's trying to break loose, lining his hips down, right? What you want to do is kind of scoot your hips up, right? So it's not so difficult to bring this leg over, right? You help this by pushing down here. It's illegal to grab the face, but you can push the side of the face of the ear. Okay? As you're also, you're pulling, creating that space or the pressure to make Jujigatami work. So here, into the move. Okay, again, from this position, let's look at a quick choke series. Okay, the basics of this move are just like I was going for the Jujigatami on the previous tape. My leg comes in, my arm comes in, pressure. Okay? Instead of going to head pressure, this time I'm going to slip my hand in and try to grab the opposite lapel here. Once I have the opposite lapel, okay, once I have this opposite lapel, I want to arch my back, post my head onto the mat. Okay, if I can, I put two hands in, arch up. Okay, now I want to roll him to the side. Here. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come, I'm going to try to trap this arm here. Okay, and the basic choke is I want to reach down, grab his lapel, and choke. Okay, this, again, this leg goes in. The difference between this one is that this other leg also enters in. Okay, you're here, but as I'm posting my head down, I want to slip this leg in too, and arch my back. Okay, if I can get Hadaka-jime, which is a strangle hold, I take it. But a lot of times he won't let you get that because his chin is down. So I grab the opposite lapel, okay, and I'm going to roll him to his side. Now I still have his wrist control, and I still have my thumb inside the lapel here. The most important thing is that I reach over and I grab his other lapel, because this is the lapel that does the choking. Everyone thinks that this lapel here, if I pull hard enough, I'm going to choke. That's not necessarily the case. This one goes as deep as possible and turns just like this. Okay? Just cock your wrist this way. But this is really the one that does the choke. Okay? And I pull straight down. In order for this choke to work, I also have to move my hips up the opponent. Okay? To choke. Okay? Let's look at another important thing, which is where your hips are. Okay? And we'll look at it from the back side here. Okay? As I'm here, right? If the opponent is on top of me and his head is touching my head, it's not going to work. I have to move my hips up out of the way. Right? So scoot your hips up this way. Once my hips are up, okay, now I have several options. Right? One is just the regular choke. Again, I'm squeezing my knees together, controlling my opponent. The second option is if, as he reaches up, grab my gi to rip my hand down, I'm going to come over and hook this arm here. Okay? And then I just choke from here. Okay? Third option is coming from here. Okay? Instead of going over this way, I'm going to let go of this, pull straight up here, and come behind his neck for kata hajime. Basically a shoulder choke. We call it shoulder choke. Here, this way. Again, to apply more pressure, this one I arch my back. Now let's look at a few other options from this position here. Once you roll the opponent over, you still have control of him right here. Okay, you have another key point is as you're rolling the opponent over, as you get into this position, it's very hard to just reach across and grab it because his hand is going to be right on top of it. So as you're rolling over, you want to take your thumb and push this lapel in as far as possible. Right? So it basically feeds it into this hand. So you don't have to come all the way across his face. So push it in here. This tightens this in nice and secure. Okay? Again, this is the basic way, just to pull down. But also, sometimes you'll find yourself in this position where you just, no matter what you do, you can't get anything. Okay? So what I like to do is scoot him off my hip and just kind of come all the way over. If you're flexible enough, come over this side of his head. Okay? It takes a little bit of flexibility, but not really that much if you get in the right position. Okay? You can come this way. Okay, that's one option. The other option is he comes across and tries to pull your own gi down this way. Right? So in other words, he's locking this in real tight here. Right? What I like to do is, or if he's grabbing his own lapel here, you can't seem to get it off. What I like to do is just reach down, grab it, okay? And you can pull it tight in this way. So now we've secured his rib. Okay? From here, you can go into the arm bar, right? Or even more importantly, you can come to here and almost sit up and into the osai. Okay? And from here, you tie up his arm, and if anything, once you tie this arm up, it gives you enough space to move in deeper for the choke. So if you can't get the pin, if you're not flexible enough, you just reach in and grab it even deeper here. Okay, now just switch back to lapel and choke. I'd like to show you a Sankaku series. Sankaku is basically a triangle choke. Okay, I've seen this in many jiu-jitsu tapes. Sankaku in Japanese means triangle. And basically, your heel touches your knee and creates like a triangle, and you trap his head and his shoulder in between. So let's look at the move in fast motion, and then I'll break it down. Okay, the basics of this move are, number one, I'm going to take my hand, put it on the back of his neck, grab his belt here. When I shift my weight to the front, okay, I'm applying this pressure. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to jerk him twice, right, to create this space in here. Once I have the space, I'm going to shoot my heel directly in, and I want to touch my knee to create this triangle. Okay. My other knee goes down right on the side of his head, okay, this way. Okay, once I have this triangle, once I feel my heel touching my knee, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to sit right on top of his head. This will stop him from standing up. Right, try to stand up. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to reach over and I'm going to grab, as far as I can, I'm going to grab his elbow, right? And my certain, I slip this deep up to his side and gut kind of creates a gut wrench. Grab here and just kind of squeeze my knees together and flip them to the side. Once I have them to the side here, the first thing I do, okay, is basically just hold on to this arm. First, most important thing is grab the wrist and pull as tight as you can. Okay, first eliminate any space in between and create that triangle again. If I don't do this, if I try to just work on this part, he's going to push this leg and he's going to escape. Okay, so this is really important that I first thing pull, tighten everything up. Okay, now here what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie the, bring the hand underneath, feed the belt into my hand, okay, tie it, figure four, tie this wrist up. Okay, now once I have this, I can apply the choke. By choking, I just squeeze my knees together to make him pass out. Okay. Secondly, I have the arm bar. Arm bar is going to come from this position. I'm going to basically push down until he taps. And what I'm doing here is if I try to push up, it's not going to work. So I want to keep this arm as tight as possible to my side of my leg. Right? So just slide it across the side of my leg. That's one arm bar. If that doesn't work, you still have an option once you've tied this up, okay, is to reach in, thumb goes under the lapel here, okay, reach in, grab as whatever you can, and then just pull. Okay, it's another variation, another choke. Okay, tie the arm up, arm bar, choke. Okay, another option, once you've tied this arm up, is also osaikomi or a pin. And all I need to do is turn my hip up like this, maintain this triangle, and this is osaikomi or a pin. I have to hold them here for 30 seconds. Okay, sometimes you want to reach in, grab the leg. It just helps you hold them tighter.